Here are 10 altcoins so good that if I had to magically start crypto over again, I would buy these to secure my success in this bull run. I'm talking about buying these right now, starting from scratch. Don't forget, if you find yourself enjoying today's video or you like some of the picks I've got on this list, and do not forget to hit the like button down below and tell me down below which of these 10 coins, if you had to only pick one, would you choose? Only one coin for this bull run. I'm interested because I might make a review on the one that gets the most votes. And while you're down there, do not forget to hit the subscribe button as well so you can secure your financial goals this bull run. And I want to say a very big thank you to our sponsors over at BlockDAG for helping support the channel with bringing you guys high quality daily crypto content. If you want to look at what BlockDAG actually is and does, check out the link down below. Now, this is a very difficult task because personally speaking, I'm going to upset a lot of people who may be like, well, Kyron, I thought you liked this coin. You talk about this coin a lot. Why didn't you pick that one for? Guys, honestly, if I had to start over again, based on what we know is going to do well this bull run, I'm talking about areas and sectors of crypto, as well as how altcoins have performed so far, and ideally are on a bit of a discount, are the ones I would look at buying. And I'm going to tell you how many multiples I would personally look to get out of for each of these. Now, it's very important before we start, I must remind you, if I were to start again, I wouldn't look for anything more than a 20x. On these altcoins particularly, I would probably max out at between a 10 to 15x, probably no more than a 15x, and that's doable. It's not like, oh, 15x is in la la land. I think a 15x for a lot of these coins is realistic, but would I aim for that? Likely not. If I started today again, knowing what I know now and the experience, just like a millionaire was to start again with no money, they kind of know what it needs to be done in order to get to that, sort of level again. I wouldn't even bother trying to risk it all for a 20x, for example, or some of these coins even a 15x. So you've got to be sensible. I would make the money this time around, and then in the next cycle, because we'd be earlier, that's when we'd really make the high multiples. So considering there are many coins out there, some of you beginners might be scratching your heads going, where does he even start? Well, again, we have a bit of a glimpse into what has been doing well so far. And primarily, the first one I'm going to kind of entertain here is AI, which is Render. Now, AI and dpin is pretty much the underscore of what Render basically is, right? Two very, very powerful narratives. I've ranked them 10 out of 10 in the bull run cheat sheet. And honestly, the fact that Render is so high right now, yes, we're pretty much back at the old previous all-time high levels, but I actually think Render can go over $100. I think quite easily. Now, I would probably look to only 10x on this coin at the current price. So look at about $70-ish. And I think that's a safe way to exit. So that would be what I would look for on this coin. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is what I would do if I started again. The reason being, and why I would pick this coin, not just for this cycle, but if something were to happen to you, all these coins are great for the next cycle too, is that Render particularly has a pretty low float, right? Well, at least the float right now isn't too bad, okay? It's about 388 million out of a total of 532 million, but a lot of this has been inflation. But the reason, again, why I say that is because there is a deflationary mechanism in it, okay? This deflationary mechanism actually incentivizes users of the Render network to actually continue to use the Render token, which then in turn pretty much burns more transactions. It's a beautiful model. Not only that, of course, but they are partnered with some amazing companies, and a lot of amazing companies use their actual products as well, thanks to their parent company, Atoy. Not to mention as well, Google has said great things, and also Microsoft at a GTC, NVIDIA's GTC conference back in 2023. Okay, this was Jules Urbach, the founder's presentation on the Render network, and of course their pinned comment over here on Twitter, Octane X, which is one of Atoy, the parent company's products, which leverages the Render network, was mentioned at Apple's recent keynote. Very, very good things to say about Render. Again, I look for altcoins that will survive the test of time, that are true companies. In the sea of 99.99% of shit coins, most of these are. They're all meme coins, even the ones that sound like they're legit companies. We've got to find the ones like Render that will look to progress over time as well. So overall, number one pick, AI dpin. Coin number two is one that kind of takes the elements and the narratives of Render and adds an extra one on top of it, and that is ICP. All right, ICP right now at $8, I think is an absolute steal, because pretty much it wasn't at this price until basically December of last year. All right, and before that it was at $4, and that was basically near the lows. So again, I'm kind of like tacking things on here, but basically I think $8 is an amazing price for ICP. Now, the multiples I would look particularly to get out of ICP here would be no more than about $110, $120. But again, I'd probably look for about a 13x max on this coin, just to be safe. So around that $110 range-ish. So I think ICP is great because, like I said before, it kind of takes elements of render, which is AI and dpin, and adds interoperability, as well as one of the most powerful narratives, in my opinion, that people are overlooking, which is layer 1, particularly Web 3 layer 1. This differs from Web 2, like, Hedera HBAR, for example, a bit more powerful for this bull run. And ICP itself has a lot of the characteristics of what a true world computer would look like. The model behind what they're trying to do here is they're trying to create literally a computer that is run across the world, which is essentially what a blockchain essentially is. But of course, with their smart contracts, they call canisters, and how robust and flexible it is, it truly is Cloud 3.0. The fact that it's got characteristics that pretty much beat Web 2, alternatives, and also has the flexibility and the benefits of Web 3 is amazing, right? So it has WebAssembly, so very customizable, has smart canisters, right, which are very, very complicated smart contracts, energy efficient, so it's ESG compliant. You have on-chain storage, arguably a little bit higher priced, at least for now. Very, very interoperable thanks to chain key cryptography, which it created, and also has a reverse gas model in which you can have no cost transactions. Not to mention, of course, they got pretty popular recently because they pretty much had an AI model built completely on-chain, and that's the beauty about ICP. It has proven time and time again that it can host websites and everything on-chain. Most of these dApps you use, like Uniswap, for example, what they have is they have the smart contract behind the scenes, and on top of that, they have sort of like the website that you interact with, right? That's the front end, and you interact with that, and sometimes that can get hacked, and that's why when you connect to the smart contract underneath it, you can drain your wallet. But again, ICP has everything all decentralized, which is, again, one of the beautiful parts about it, so that would be one of the reasons why I would pick this amazing coin. Pick number 3 also falls in line with the same as ICP, and you can see a recurring thing here. We're trying to, again, isolate the popular narratives of the bull run. That way we have no room for error. Again, if we have all 10 coins hit here, which I believe they all will, it's a recipe for success, and that's Near Protocol, okay? So the narrative as this coin here hits is AI, dpin as well, Web3 layer 1, but a new area, which is data availability. This is kind of what Celestia does, pretty much, supplies support for other blockchains to build very easily rather than having all the infrastructure problems and all the money required and all that sort of stuff, okay? Now, Near Protocol is about $5 right now, and it had a recent high around about, about $8, $9, okay? So almost 50% down, and I think that this coin can very easily go above and beyond about $60-ish. So I'd look for about a 10x to be safe from this level. So around about $50. And the reason that makes, I think, Near Protocol so unique and special is what they're offering in the AI world. Now, Ilya is actually one of the co-founders of Near, and he helped create the transformer model, which is a pretty important part of what makes AI these days so special, okay? Now, he co-created that, which ultimately means that he's been on a few panels, like the NVIDIA GTC conference that kind of recently happened this year, got, Near Protocol up, and everyone was buying Near Protocol, typical buy the rumor, sell the news events. But Near Task is actually kind of what they're promoting here for their AI side of things, which is a marketplace where people can hire out talent to help them build AI models, okay? So it's basically like the Uber for hiring people for specific things for AI, if that makes sense. I might have made that sound clear like mud, right? But anyway, Near Protocol definitely makes it to this list. Again, I'd look for a 10x on this coin, no problem. Coin 4 hits a different area, which we are lacking currently in the portfolio, and that is interoperability. That's Wormhole, okay? Now, we have Layer 0 that has recently launched as well, which is the main competitor of Wormhole. I find that Wormhole's tokenomics are slightly better from the research I've done. Mind you, it hasn't been a lot of research into Layer 0 just yet, but I think Wormhole's great. The tokenomics, again, can kind of scare people. People see the huge unlocks to still occur. You have to remember, though, that these unlocks are dependent on what people get the tokens, and only a small slither at the unlock time, the first major unlock, will likely be, to the investors. So we don't really have that much to be concerned with, in my personal opinion. Now, Wormhole is pretty much at all-time lows right now. So personally speaking, when you're looking at a good time to buy a coin, you don't get too much better than this. This one ran up when the whole market was pretty much moving downwards to 80 cents. Okay, that's pretty much a 3x from here almost. You can't argue with that. Not to mention, again, interoperability, but it also hits the Solana ecosystem as well, because it is the main connector to Solana for the rest of the pretty much ecosystem, okay? So Solana is a massive narrative of the bull run, hence why I like this project a lot. Not to mention as well, they have a lot of multi-chain applications building on top of them. The list almost feels endless. You can just keep scrolling all day, every day. And as well, the Wormhole scan shows over 1 billion transactions have occurred with $43 billion in TVL. a lot of projects require Wormhole to operate, like Pyth Network, which is one of my all-time favorite projects for this cycle. So this definitely makes it to the list. I would actually look for a 15x on this coin. I think this coin can be one of the ones that bring up the portfolio, but definitely worthwhile looking into. We're halfway done now. The next one is one we're missing again. That's Ondo Finance. So this one obviously hits tokenization / real world assets. That's because one of its funds actually taps into the Buildall fund, which was created by BlackRock. And they pretty much take this massive fund that was tokenized by them, tokenizing US treasuries basically. And what they're doing is then allowing retail to actually use it. I think it's about a minimum of 5 million USD to actually leverage these tokenized assets. And so of course, Ondo are like, well, hang on a second, that's fine. We'll give this a retail application. And that's why we're here, right? The fund admin and custodian is BYN Mellon. The manager is obviously BlackRock, transfer agent, Securitize, auditor, PwC. I mean, 4 huge names, okay? Ondo has been mentioned time and time and time again in many of the top sort of institutions and agencies. And honestly, this project is basically the bee's knees when it comes to tokenization / real world assets. So this is a safe bet in my opinion, which is why I would actually look for a 10x. Especially the current price. I mean, this coin does not stop moving. This is a true contrarian to whatever the market's doing. It does the opposite. In a way, it only goes up, okay? So at $18.18 right now, I think it's a great buy. And again, great buy would probably be down here at like 79, 80 cents. But in effect, I think for where it's going to go, I think a 10x is on the cards. Personally speaking, I wouldn't go any higher. Even though I know I can go higher, I wouldn't risk it. Not for this, okay? This is not an optimal buying opportunity, but it definitely makes it to this list, filling a sector right now that we are missing. Now, the next coin doubles back into the same area, which is AI, dpin, all the rest of it, Flux Network. But this coin's a much smaller market cap, currently about $200 million. So we have more room for multiples, which is why on this coin, I would look for a 15x, again, bringing the rest of the portfolio up. I still think it's a very solid coin in terms of performance, right? It's, again, down quite a lot. I think it went up to about almost $2 over here. So we're adding about $1 in terms of value to it, basically, almost 2.5xing here. So I think this coin is fantastic because, again, interoperability, AI, dpin, Web3 layer 1, storage, and it's a proof of work network as well. So it ticks a lot of the boxes that I think a lot of people like to see in crypto, which is, again, Fairmind. It's a fork, I believe, of Monero, which is a fork of Bitcoin, which means it's proof of work, Fairmind, all the rest of it, right? Not to mention, it's also very cheap as well. You can kind of see this as a competitor to ICP. ICP has benefits over Flux. Flux has benefits over ICP. One of the benefits of Flux is that it's very, very cheap to run, again, fully decentralized websites on it, okay? It's an actual legitimate Web3 cloud. Look at this. Flux compared to Google Cloud, Amazon Web Service, and Microsoft Azure is so cheap. $5.83 for a 2 CPU run website. Now, 8 CPU is up here at $20 compared to these monstrosities, okay? Another way to look at this as well is you can run a full enterprise professional website on this for $45 a month. That is incredible. And I believe you get a discount as well if you pay in Flux tokens. Not to mention it's proof of work, but it's also green as well. And they have a kind of really unique area called proof of useful work, which is the algorithm that actually runs the Flux network itself, at least the blockchain in essence. And they use any of the wasted computational power that would typically piss all the greenies off with Bitcoin, right? But instead, this goes into the AI model and acts pretty much as, a way in which you can render things, for example. That's the whole AI thing, right? It is incredible. There's currently 8,000 GPUs are running right now. So, Flux is amazing. One of the important parts of the actual network itself is that it can't run up like with ASIC machines like Bitcoin, for example. So you don't have these very expensive machines, which ultimately centralizes the network as well over time and creates more energy problems. So these guys tick a lot of boxes. It's really, really undervalued in my opinion right now. That's why I'm looking at a 15x. Coin 7 is a gaming altcoin here. Now, as you might notice, there is a pattern I'm forming. I'm not buying your dumb micro caps. Now, okay, I probably shouldn't say dumb. I'm not buying your micro caps. The reason being is because a lot of people will go wrong with buying micro caps because what they'll do is they'll buy them. They're not on centralized exchanges. Therefore, when you go to sell them, you have to manually sell them and you come with the problem of slippage and low liquidity in some of these pools. For me, it makes more sense to look for, again, 10 to 15x's bull run with your higher market cap projects. Do not risk it this cycle, guys. I've went on a massive tangent about this in the private community a day ago or so. So if you want to go watch that, you can go to the private community, first link down below. But of course, IMX, $1.50 right now. I can't believe how cheap this is. I almost bought this coin with some cash I had the other day. I decided to buy Ondo instead, but this coin's next on my hit list because it's so cheap. $1.50. Again, going back to where it was recently, almost at $4. I mean, that's an amazing upside in my opinion. Now, I would personally look for about a 15x, actually. That might surprise some of you guys on this coin. Gaming's a massive narrative of the bull run. You can see here, it's also a layer 2 coin, both 10 out of 10 narratives. But IMX has the advantage of having a very, very amazing ecosystem with, of course, the immutable passport, pretty much making all of the wallets agnostic. So basically connecting them all together and, allows you to use the immutable passport on all of these different games, which is great. And they have some massive connections. I think anyone not looking at least having a blue chip gaming coin being Immutable X, I mean, I don't know a real major competitor to that, so it definitely makes it to my list. Now, here's one of my most exciting coins, Pyth Network. Obviously, this is the Oracle coin I mentioned to you before. It also hits the Solana ecosystem as well, which is a big tick in my opinion, but it's at 31 cents right now, guys. It was up at $1.10. Crazy to me. Crazy how low we've come on this coin. And the reason I believe we've come so low is because there was an unlock that recently happened. I made many videos on it. People, of course, sold their coins out of fear, not understanding how these unlocks actually work. They will be the ones to buy back in when it's up at 60 cents again, okay? So I think this coin's at a fantastic price, and in my opinion, I have been still stacking up even as much as I do own of the project. So looking at the coin, you might ask yourself, well, why is this Oracle so good? Like, what really is the major competitor? Well, the only major competitor to Pyth is Chainlink. And Chainlink is now focusing a lot more on tokenization as well. So I believe the different model that Pyth uses, I believe it's a pull model versus Chainlink's push model, is a lot more efficient and a lot cheaper to use for some of these smart contracts. Plus, of course, it is pretty well, as you can see here with the TVS, a lot of these newer ecosystems, main point of call for an Oracle, okay? These guys have been around for a while, but they only recently launched their token, $8 billion in total value secured, $90 million cross-chain updates, $100 billion monthly traded volume, and this is their massive ecosystem. A lot of their blockchains here are ones like Hedera and all that are kind of really starting to focus more on the Web3 side of things. And if you have a look, this is all a transparency report they do every single month. For the previous month, a lot of things are starting to grow back up again, even with the market being the way it is. You can see it's just things are going linear, if not exponential, like this. Only good ticks of Pyth, and again, just like Wormhole, I'd look for a 15x on this one. This next coin might surprise you, actually. Again, another AI coin, right? But it's dpin as well, and that's Fetch. Technically not Fetch, though. Technically, this is ASI. Okay, now, yeah, the chart looks kind of gnarly, of course, over here, but if we zoom in a little bit more, we can see we're actually quite down now from the recent highs of about $3.25. So about 50% down or so. We did come down here a little bit just before on the recent crash, but we're holding up quite steady around these levels. Now, again, I think that Fetch is going to be a great pick because they're actually merging into this new coin called the Artificial Superintelligence. ASI is the evolution of what we haven't yet started, which is Artificial General Intelligence, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is the collective knowledge and sort of human power of everyone on Earth. Artificial Superintelligence is basically the intelligence that will get us to Mars and all that sort of stuff. So these guys are trying to democratize and decentralize access to artificial intelligence through this alliance. Now, this is the accumulation of SingularityNet, Fetch, and Ocean Protocol, which is great, but the only issue that people are coming up with is the fact that they aren't actually merging. It's just kind of like a collaboration. It's a separate entity. They're still working on their own things. All the tokens will merge, so there will be an increase in supply, but all the supply will be allocated to people, okay? I believe all of the total supply should even be in circulation. If not, there might be an odd 200 million tokens left over. But again, they will merge into Fetch, which is why we have to be looking at Fetch's price. Fetch's price won't actually change on the merge unless people actually sell. That's it. So it shouldn't go down with the new tokens going into circulation. The market cap will increase, though, instantly. All right. Now, Fetch has a lot of good things to say about it. Again, we're technically talking about, AGIX and also Ocean Protocol here, but to save time, of course, time is ticking here. I will say that Fetch has an amazing dpin side of things as well. They had a recent $100 million infrastructure investment. This is what kind of caught it most of its attention and had this massive rise, where they're going to deploy a whole bunch of NVIDIA H200, 100, and A100 GPUs to, again, enable a dpin AI model, an AI economy. So, again, a lot of good things to say about this coin. I would personally, at this point, at this price, look for a 10x and just take out my money. But again, good exposure, I think, to a solid project. Last but not least, another interoperability project. This also kind of hits tokenization in a possible way, and it also hits Web3 layer 1. That's Axelar. All right, this is a coin I previously dismissed 18 months ago or so because of a few reasons, but revisiting it, it's got a lot more attractive to me. Now, the current price, in my opinion, given what I know about the coin, I think a 15x as well is definitely on the card. So pretty much averaging around a 12 to 13x with this portfolio so far. And again, we pretty much were at these levels back in November of 2023. So again, fantastic entry level. Like I said, it's Web3 layer 1. Also technically kind of tokenization / RWA, but mainly interoperability. All right. So Axelar itself, again, pretty much just enables the transfer of tokens between blockchains. I think they have over 15 blockchains currently connected, but the beautiful part about what they're doing here is this, right? The interchain token service, which is kind of like what they're working on right now, basically allows anyone to plug and play Axelar into their protocol, and it connects over 15 blockchains, but also you do not have to worry about the liquidity problems where you have a liquidity pool on this chain and a new one on this chain and all that sort of stuff. Basically, it connects to liquidity on all these different networks. So you only have to worry about one single pool, which is amazing. This is what needs to happen. These ecosystems need to be agnostic, which means they work together and they're sort of like the same thing, if you will, like one big ecosystem. Otherwise, we're not going to really progress in the whole Web3 side of things. So a project like Axelar is paramount, not just for that, but also when you look at problems with real-world assets as well, a lot of the issues that come up with stable coins is that they can't be adequately transferred with liquidity across the different networks. This is what Axelar will help solve. It's a genuine issue a lot of these developers are looking to solve. This is their product. Gives you a lot of confidence in the coin. So overall, again, 15x this one should not be a problem, in my opinion, not financial advice. And those would be the 10 altcoins I would buy right now, okay, if I pretty much had to start over again. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry if you wanted a bunch of micro caps. Like I said before, it is not what I would do if I started over again, especially at the prices these coins are offering us. Take good care. Bye.